Hey friends, I'm Savannah. This is part 4 of our conversation about David Gore and Fred Waterfield, the killing cousins from Vero Beach, Florida. If you haven't seen the first 3 parts, they're my last 3 posts on this page, and check those out and come back. These 2 men terrorized their small community in the late 1970s, early 1980s. Today we're going to pick up with the cousins' 6th and 7th victims. Only 2 months after being released from prison, on May 20th, 1983, Gore and Waterfield pick up 14-year-old Angelica Lavelli and 14-year-old Barbara Byer, who were out hitchhiking that day. Now, notice here that both men were there when they picked up the girls. Normally, Gore was the one picking them up and delivering them to Waterfield. At some point in this scenario, it's unclear, Waterfield stopped paying the $1,000 a victim fee that I mentioned in part 2 of this story. So I guess at that point, Gore started making him come along to do the dirty work. I'm not sure, but he wasn't normally there when they picked him up, and this time he was. So the men essay both of the girls, and when they are finished, Gore shoots both of them in the head and kills them. Barbara was buried in an orange grove, and Lavelli was dumped in a canal off of I-95. Her body was never found. Roughly 2 months later, the cousins were out once again searching for girls, and they stopped 2 more young hitchhikers, Lynn Elliott, age 17, Reagan Martin, age 14. The 2 girls were abducted at gunpoint and taken back to Gore's parents' home because his parents were on vacation. Isn't that nice? So, luckily, this is where their whole thing begins to unravel for them. Once they get back to Gore's parents' house, the men repeatedly essay the girls. Waterfield leaves after the assault like he normally does, and Lynn tries to escape. Gore catches up with her, shoots and kills her in his parents' driveway. But unbeknownst to him, a neighborhood boy on a bicycle saw the whole thing and called the police. The police came, a 90-minute-long standoff occurs, and eventually Gore surrenders. Once Gore is taken into custody, the police find Elliott's body in the trunk of a car, and Reagan is found live, naked, and handcuffed in the attic. Gore was arrested and charged with murder on July 26, 1983. On August 15, 1983, several indictments were filed against Gore. 1 count of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, 3 counts of sexual battery. 5 days later, Gore pleads not guilty. In November of that year, Gore confesses to 6 murders and describes to prosecutors all about his crimes, the assaults, the murders, even torture and dismemberment in some cases. In December, he takes police to the remains of 3 victims and is observed smirking as they uncover the bodies. On March 15, 1984, Gore is sentenced to death and 5 life without parole sentences. Obviously, the death penalty trumps those, so he's going to get put to death. He goes through his appeals process, but ultimately he is actually executed on April 12th, 2012. So what happened to Fred? Well, in short, David told on him. Fred was tried in 1984 in 2 different venues and then had another trial in 1985 for the 6 murders in connection with Gore. He is currently alive, serving a life sentence in the Hardy Correctional Institution in Florida. That's all I have for you today. Please be sure you subscribe so that you can see the 5th and final conversation on the killing cousins tomorrow. I will uncover the unusual facts of these cases, and I will describe Gore's friendship with Ted Bundy. They were serving time in the same prison. And I will share what Gore shared with my professor in the letters they exchanged before he was executed. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you for watching.